Welcome everybody, welcome to another fantastic LAN here at Essentials TF. This is our production of the poLANd TF 2024. I believe it's our winter edition. I don't know if they're implying they want to do more, but anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm TurboTabs. I will be your guide in these Polish lands. I've also brought some help alongside me. This is your first LAN, isn't it, Meerkat?
It's absolutely my first ever LAN, so pretty excited. Roger's looking pretty grey out there, but I'm sure we can light it up in here.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Now, obviously, we are casting this live here in the base camp over in, if I'm saying this right, say it with me, Meerkat.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We've got 3 days.
For you uncultured swines out there, it's spelt as Lods, but please don't do that.
we won't go
Otherwise, our organisers will kill us. But a big shout out to our organisers, Super, and everybody from the Polish community. It's part of a wonderful LAN so far because they have had 16 teams turn up for this LAN action. They're here to play against each other, against some of the best teams in the world. Some teams have had to go through a qualifier. There's been a lot of hype around it, hasn't it, Meerkat?
Yeah, there has. Of course, this is first game we're going into. We have got a qualified team and an invitational. It was really a very popular event, very hotly contested, and a lot of teams missed the punch, which is why we've got such good spectating today.
Yeah. And it's not just on one single day. No. It's going to be across 3 days of fun LAN. That's always nice when it goes into that third day. So we're going to be first day. It's going to look very groupy. You're going to have lots of games, lots of things happening. We even got a second stream going here, Meerkat.
It's crazy.
So Firecamp will be helping us out. If you tune in, if you want a Firecamp, Fireside, it's because I'm combining Basecamp all together. But yeah, they are going to be helping us on their B stream, and they're going to be covering games that we can't quite cover ourselves. But we've got some good quality content for you coming into things. Obviously, we're going to start off with our first group stages. All these gamers are facing off against each other to win the top prize of a bunch of keys. I think it's like 78 keys.
It's decent. That'll get you a couple unusuals, won't it?
Yeah,
maybe an awful unusual per player.
Yeah. That's and you know how those it's like a stock market over in the TF2 land with all these hats and keys and all this stuff. It could be rise up. Who knows? This is the new Bitcoin we're looking at here.
It's more stable than most cryptos.
Yeah, 100%. But like you touched upon earlier, we are going to go straight into our first game, and what we should roughly talk about. I know there's a lot of gamers out there, a lot of teams, and a lot of ones, but we'll go as they come by, one at a time. So, Meerkat, tell me, what out of the two that we are going to be casting into, which one's your favourite that you want to talk about?
So the first game we've got for this round one, we got 3.5 stars against Alien Workshop. Now, 3.5 stars. They got in on an invitational with, I think, 10 other teams, and then Alien Workshop had to go through the qualification stages. They look pretty strong, and these teams have been scrimmy against each other recently, so it could be quite interesting. You got a French team, sort of serial land dodgers, Insomnia.
Whoa! Excuse me, they've turned up to some French lands. I mean, I guess anything's a land if you just call it. I do a land in my house every day, technically, but yeah. So 3.5 stars are coming from that ETF2 online experience. They've been through the grueling sort of team dynamics they're not strangers to each other. I think they do have a couple of players switching out. I think it was Duo that's coming in instead of Scar, if I'm correct. So that's going to be fun as well. Alien, it's looking awfully different though, isn't it, Mia?
It is, of course. They're coming back off of that third place finish at Insomnia. They're absolutely buzzing. That wasn't too long ago. They've had the whole season. They've played it out, they came, I believe, 5th place in Div 1 last season, which is okay.
That's like all of Europe gathering around, and to come out of that with a 5th place in a high div is nothing to snuff at. Plus, you do have that LAN magic as well.
Definitely.
So, be serious with me, okay? It's the 8th place team in Prem. It's the 5th place team in Div 1. Obviously, one's got a bit more LAN experience than the other. Yeah. Do you feel like this is going to be a close match? Did we pick a correct game for our first match? It
definitely has the potential to be. These guys played against each other just a few days ago, and they took a map each. One of them was a roll, and I see both of those maps have been thoroughly avoided today.
Okay.
So they're not looking to repeat any former mistakes. So I suppose we could have a little look at the picked bands while we're here. So these guys they've played on Sunshine and Granary recently, and it looked like they wanted to get them out of the way pretty sharpish. So we settled on Snakewater there.
I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, map vetoes already. No, we spared no expense for these teams. We're not setting them on fixed maps, nothing like previous lands. We're letting them have full autonomy and strategic power to figure out what teams they should play against when it comes to which maps. And I'm just going to walk you through basics so far. I'm seeing product being listed out. That's kind of like the wild child out of all of the map pool, isn't it, Mia?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you've got such DM strong teams as well, it could really go either way. You've got to go for the maps where you can really drill a good game plan, and try and work your way around them. But product.
Welcome back. That's LAN, baby. Sometimes you press a button, sometimes it goes blue screen. It happens to the worst of us, happens to the best of us.
At least it happened before we got
into
the action.
But the thing is, we got back in like no time at all.
Exactly.
If anything, it was like a mandatory break. So anyway, welcome back. If you just missed us, this is our poLANd LAN. We're just starting our group stage. We're just starting day one. I'm Terror Tabs. This is Meerkat. And we're going to go into our first game of 3.5 stars versus Alien Workshop. Any quick words for our people out there that they should know before they go into this match here, Mir?
I mean, these are two teams that are really sort of middle of the pack compared to the other sort of teams we're seeing here. 3.5 stars were invited. Alien Workshop, they managed to climb their way through that quite brutal qualification because they were only fighting for 4 spots. So it's going to be a good one. This is definitely going to set the tone for both of these teams for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, and it's a doozy of a match as well because we've seen these people scrim. It has been close, and we've actually had a couple of map picks and bans before we started pressing other buttons, and I pulled out a cable here or two. So I think we just had the usual suspects banned, your granaries, your products, your King of the Hill maps. Nothing too shocking. We did finally land on I think it was a Snakewater.
We did.
So tell me about this map. Is this map really like what you suspected? Is it just the
love
child of everyone?
It's a very safe bet, isn't it? That's the thing. When you're going through with the bans and everything, you just eliminate the ones that are, that you're slightly scared of. Things can go wrong. You got to pick them up where you've got enough interesting things that you can do. But you're not trying to break the game too much. You're still sticking to what you know.
I think what Snakewater is that map where it's nobody's favourites, but it's no one's hate child either.
Yeah.
So I think you'll be seeing a lot of Snakewater throughout all of TF2, not even just this tournament. But I mean, nothing too much to say. I can feel maybe teams might feel each other out into going into these games. I don't know. Or do you think things are going to be quite non-caring, Mia? Do you think this is more like 4 scrims in their mind?
I think it is really. I mean, if you're looking to advance for the whole tournament, you want to get to the upper bracket ready for the knockout stages. They're going to have to really try and assert dominance quite early, as you say, try and feel these teams out and establish the cadence that they're going to have for the whole tournament. I think it's going to be really, really important, especially these early games, because I mean, those rooms are awfully small, and when tensions rise and people get a little bit sick of each other and they're not happy with how they're performing, it's a bit of a snowball effect. So it could be some people's undoing.
Yeah. Now, Mia, sometimes I don't follow all the teams. I don't know the team names, but I know player names. Is there any particular players I should be watching out for when I'm watching these games? Any sort of like final bosses I should like pay attention to?
I mean, in terms of excitement and wow factor, Kazuki has done an excellent job. He of course, the Alien Workshop came 3rd at the last series, and Kazuki really did put on a show. He showed everyone what the soldier class is truly capable of. So he's my one to watch for this game.
Okay, I was going to say Shades. Shades was putting on a good land performance as well. The soldiers are stacked on that Alien Workshop. But if we had to give a little love to 3.5 stars, I feel like Delhi does a good job on that Demoman class. I think it's more like just that team cohesion as well. These players have been playing for years together.
And years
so
and years. They've climbed and dropped divs like nobody's business.
You're not going to have so much that final boss. They're just going to be that like stage that that's going to be difficult to tackle.
When you're scrimming with the same people, you're pugging with the same people, when you're social with the same people, that's a synergy that you can't really learn in a short span of time as a season or two.
Now, is this pivotal? Like this round one, the teams need to walk away with these points of this, or do you think 3.5 stars Alien Workshop they can let a couple of things slip at this point?
I think these teams are both reasonably safe for getting into the lower bracket, but it is, as we say, is about just trying to capitalise and getting a good position nice and early, and trying to eliminate a little bit of stress for you later on in the tournament. As we said before, these guys are both very middle pack teams compared to the talent that we have here, but I'd say pretty well matched.
Do you think there's going to be much growth past this point as well? Like, for example, you watch 3.5 stars and they're not cooking as well as you'd like. Do you think that means that's it? They're out for the tournament. I don't care what they say. Do you see that typically at LANs where teams grow as the tournament continues?
I think particularly when you're looking at teams like Alien Workshop, where like they've got a decent chunk of LAN experience within quite a short span of time. I think it's paid them pretty well, and obviously, as we say, like the social side and just dealing with each other outside of the game and having those relationships, it definitely helps when you're
that's a good
not
point.
on the map.
It must be that LAN factor, the fact that Lucky can just go over, clip shades on the tab and all this stuff. Does it actually help these teams being in these sort of little kind of close-knit areas, or do you think these players play better online?
I think definitely the LAN atmosphere brings the best or potentially the worst out of people. You see people making a really huge setup because they've got limitations of their home setup and things like that. They can really come into their own here.
Yeah. Now, I've got to talk about the elephant in the room as we got a bit more time here, just waiting for the games to get started. It's LAN. Pings are kind of out the window, and that means some classes are like, some classes are like, So, is LAN rockets a thing? Is that an actual thing, or is that just myth?
It's definitely a thing. Like, I mean, I'm sure everyone's been through an evolution when you first start playing the game.
Oh, and is that the announcer right here? I think we might be going live. Yes, that is true. Welcome, if you're just joining us. This is our first game kicking off the entire poLANd.tf. I'm TurboTabs, joined with Meerkat. It's Alien Workshop versus 3.5 stars on the map of Snakewater. Oh, let me take a breath. What do you see on this middle?
I mean, it's a pretty standard setup. As we talked about before, it's all about trying to get your head in the game nice and early, try and feel out the other team, see what their strategy is going to be, and sort of work around them and see what you want to do. It looks to be a pretty tentative mid from both sides. I think definitely going to be a double medic surviving mid, but we do see the first trade-off.
Yeah, he is the first one to dive bomb in, and usually the dominoes start to fall from this point as they do cut across point, try and play off of each other's damage, but a lot of kind of recollecting from both sides. Nobody wants to commit fully, and it seems 3.5 stars do a quick head count. 3 is less than 4, they back out.
Absolutely. You can see how tentative they were, sort of going in, dipping their toe in and out of that fight. They just really wanted to keep their medic alive. They didn't want it to go straight to last, which how can you blame them for that? But they're putting up a little bit of batterment on the second, but they're taking a real battering from the early push from Alien Workshop here. So just trying to grind each other down, try and get themselves in a decent position. And that's not a good sign.
Wow, Piggy going down. Wrath coming in from the back. Will get the force out onto Lucky, and with Patchouli so safe away from all the action, they're going to have an uber charge, I think, to play with for the rest of this round. Oh, well, Telly going down, a quick kind of slap from Taffy. That's going to put us quite spanner in the works, but I think they can still make this work. They've still got that uber charge.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a rather long back and forth there. Neither team making too much ground, but they're definitely trying to make a mark nice and early in this game.
QB trying to protect his medic. Finally gets it off. I mean, Patchouli needed a backup of a mouse too there, but it's okay because they have pushed them back to last. This uber charge can just be considered as a casualty of war. They can continue this push into second and then just rebuild it here on second as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an equal uber situation before they start this push, but it means Alien Workshop have a decent smattering of time to sort of fortify their defenses, get their head in the game, and try and prepare themselves for this 3.5 star attack.
All right, let me ask you, Meerkat. You've got an uber charge on last. The other team does not have an uber charge on second. Do you make that push, or is that just too spicy of a push for you?
I think that is danger territory. With a last that is so hard to push out of as Snakewater, you can be stuck there for ages and ages and ages. That's why this sort of 5-minute round timer is so handy, because it is one of those where it is just an absolute hog to try and make your way out.
I've been keeping my ear to the community ground as I should have, but do people like this timeout feature? Is it seen as an honourable way to play TF2, or is this kind of like, I don't like it, it's too slow?
I think generally when you're looking at that rule set, it benefits the majority of teams, because the pace of these games is good. You're never on a point for
Ooh,
5 minutes.
Deli
So,
interrupting you with his death there, Meerkats. Excuse poor Sneaky and his bad manners as he's still on the prowl. Given a bit of confidence, the Derry man down is nothing to snuff at, and he wants to add to the roster. Everyone is backed behind a box. I don't think Sneaky quite knows, but well, I mean, he could probably surmise, but he doesn't know, like we can see with our tech. And yeah, they managed to get their way back into the lobby area with that sniper, pushed out successfully. And look, Deli's back. It's like it never happened.
Exactly. They were put through the grinder a little bit there. Obviously, the Derry man wasn't there to lock anything off, but they were being attacked from all angles, and the spam was just a little bit too much for them to handle.
Man,
so
everyone's just doing Summit on the map, aren't they? There's no like kind of patient play. There's a trade spam taken here. They got snipers going. It really is just a constant barrage coming from both teams, which is nice. It's nice to see some sort of multi-angled prone attack rather than just like putting all the onus on like Kowalski, get in there. Yeah, we're at the stage in this map now where they're just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. But the teleporter, that's a really, really big hit. I hope that was set up for some sort of tomfoolery. And minute silence, please, for the teleporter.
But yeah, both teams just sort of locking things out, trying to see what's going on, feeling each other out. And
I know what you're thinking. When is this round actually going to finish? It's that timer right up at the tippy top. If you're my mother and you're watching and you don't know what's going on, that time right at the top is the round timer. 2 minutes we've got until this round will reset. We'll go back to mid and we'll just try again, and let's hopefully the second time is the charm for these teams. But so far, nobody really wants to throw themselves into the danger pit. Nothing like a soldier being sacked in. Just kind of sniper gameplay, very defensive. Finally, Duo is the one to kind of throw himself onto the line, but poLAND has to deal with not only sentry gun shots, but like alien pistols as well.
Yeah, the medic dispenser armor always seems to work a treat, but if you're on this last tier, you do kind of want to just tick that timer down. So the ball is very much in 3.5 stars' court here.
Yeah, just waiting on any sort of like soldier spam, scout spam. They're trying to push in and see if they could catch lower by surprise, and I think they have done just that. Shades will go down, but I need to remind you that sentry gun is basically like a 7th member of the team, so it's more like a 6v6 right now. As they jump wrap in, they go against the Iron Man. They take out the Iron Man's armor, but they can't find the rocket. Go for the air shot. Lucky it's not popping. Had to go through 7 layers of onion there, but couldn't quite find the core.
Absolutely not. And we've only got a minute left on this round timer as well, and it looks like Alien Workshop are just going to sit pretty and wait for that to tick down. Of course, they have got enough time for another Uber exchange. They've got a minute to go. But yeah, still very much in 3.5 stars' core.
I think throughout all of that, Wild Piggy might have got some criticals off of the Frontier of Justice. We might see that come out and influence things. Raph going high in the sky, can't quite get on top of the port. I heard it ring off actually, Frontier of Justice, but no more crits for that gun now. And yeah, it's just really hard. This is why the sentry gun is opted so much by players at this last point. It just keeps things nice and kind of simple for the teams to focus on things. I mean, a soldier in the sky is so much more less threatening than a soldier kind of like close-knit to the ground.
Yeah, I was hoping to see something a little bit more interesting, maybe pull out a sniper or something like that, because they just threw that.
They just Ubered in. Okay, I mean, I understand there's 10 seconds left, and they might as well use the Uber charge rather than not spend it at all. You got to think of the logs, man. So they are trying to cause chaos, pulled to different sections of this last point, but it's not enough time to even cap the point, let alone go things into overtime. Stalemate will be the name of the game here as we're going back to a round reset.
Yeah, that's definitely what Alien Workshop wanted there. They stuck it out and they managed to cling on. But 3.5 stars, they were pretty tentative in their attempts to push. There were no real balls to the walls attempts. They sort of just sat pretty and threw a soldier sack until something stuck, and unfortunately for them, nothing did.
All right, last mid was very, very tentative, very, very kind of steady, let's just say. So things might be a bit more confident now. They might have psychoanalyzed things a bit more, and you might see a bit more balls to the wall. Let's see. Or are they still filling each other out here? I don't see anybody immediately going into the breach of things. Almost just going for the bait gameplay for both sides. Kowiski is the first one to cut across yet again, but can't quite find the kills. And poor Shades can't seem to fish too much out either. He will fart out a random Demoman kill. And with Tavi still alive, that might be the difference maker. But it's a sad, sad world to be a Demoman without your team backing you up.
Yeah, definitely. He's running as far and as fast as he can. He's hoping to get some, hopefully, slightly aggressive stickies to try and catch out these 3.5-star players and slow them down in their inevitable last push. You know, they're in a position that we saw them in just a couple of minutes ago. So they might have to have a little bit of a rethink and try and get their head into last a bit better.
Well, fortunately on their side, they have an Uber charge and they don't have the their defenses set up quite yet over on Alien Workshop. This is a good time of any to push with your team.
Yeah, they got a 60% disadvantage, so the Uber comes straight in through right-hand side. This is looking really, really good. Everyone's in spawn from Alien Workshop. They got a decent bit of cap time as well.
Soldiers finally getting some kills against those scouts that were ransacking the point, and I think they brought out the heavy weapons guy now. That's going to be way too much on the plate for 3.5 stars, but it was looking good there. The pieces were there to make something work. It was just the later portion of that attack that just kind of nipped them in the bud.
Yeah, they're 2 men down, but it's still enough for Alien Workshop to get out of that horrid last. So capping up this second point now, waiting for their 2 soldiers to roll out into them and seeing what they want to do next. They have got a 40% advantage, so they'll have to use that pretty rapid if they want to properly capitalize on that.
Yeah, they're pushing from Sawmill now, clearing off stickies, trying to get their team in. If they can get in for 3, they could maybe, I say 3, they've already popped off the Uber. Now they get a kill onto Deli and to Juxta. That's going to be a more than fine Uber. There is a back cap going on right now, but it's a slowly little soldier. What's he going to do? What's he going to threat with? They do bring back a few souls to deal with this man, and that might be enough actually to defend this midpoint because of it. A lot of players being assigned to just deal with that one lonesome soldier.
Yeah, it looks like Patchouli got forced in the melee there, so they are looking at an Uber disadvantage, but they are men up, so looking to get onto the enemy second ASAP.
We're bleeding souls here. As actually no, that's just Duo from behind. I think it's more like a hero's death, as he will go down, but this allows his team to kind of set up onto second, and poor Alien Workshop. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, it feels. Actually, and then another step back on top of that as well. They're back to square one.
Yeah, they're. It's something they're becoming very familiar with. You know, they're really getting drilled here with their last hold. So this could be their pick for the rest of the tournament if they're so good at holding last by the end of this map.
I love Last Water personally, but maybe Alien Workshop. It's nice to get practiced at the most crucial part of the video game. We've got 100% Uber charge on both of these souls, so expect more thrilling round 1 gameplay, as they need to kind of come up with the recipe or the play of like how to break these plays apart, and they seem to favor a lot about, God, that was a nice little air shot, but bouncing up Raph into the sky.
Oh my God, the double!
Yeah, nice little kind of clean up air shot coming out from Kowiski. I mean, that's the name of the game, though. If you're playing in Raph's shoes, you need to get pie high in the sky and just kind of avoid the sentry gun, kind of curve the bullets as much as you can. And in them pushing out, though, this has created opportunity for 3.5 stars to make a play. They still have a sentry gun to deal with, but one sentry gun without the backup of your team. A scout is peppering the sentry gun at this point. I think it has delayed enough time, though, and a couple of other souls that they can't keep this push going. They have to back out.
Yeah, the quality of the coordination slipped a little bit. The first 2 players in that fight were the scouts, and I'm no expert, but they're not the best at dealing with sentry guns, particularly when they don't know where it is.
Just getting the shot kill onto Raph as he was jumping across. 9 HP warrior will go back to the waiting arms of his medic. Back to the drawing board, Mia. If you were the team's coach at this point, what kind of strat would you be screaming in their ear? What could they do to break up this scenario? Or do they just keep doing this soldier sack?
I mean, the thing is it is about playing it safe, because they know so long as they keep a couple of players alive and they manage to get a couple frags on the other side, they can keep pushing last and pushing last and pushing last, because it's got such a challenge for Alien Workshop to try and make their way out. And that can go on infinitum. You know, we could be seeing another 17 minutes of this potentially.
Yeah, poor Raph having to be the sacrificial lamb, it seems, for everybody involved in this 3.5 stars push. He's just going to keep throwing his body in over and over again until something sticks. And statistically, something has to stick if you just keep throwing the dice enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's something that we're seeing 3.5 stars doing now. You can see a pretty aggressive hold there from Alien Workshop. So potentially a quick aggressive Uber in through bottom could sort of disrupt them a little bit and get a lot of damage on those players because they're all very, very congested. And there's no way that they can all get flashed at the start of that Uber.
Yeah, sneaky. Just playing it chill, playing it back, not even fishing out for that sort of kill. I mean, in a even Stevens situation, you have to, admire or kind of empathize with the strategy of just let's go for the round reset over on Alien. This is the best way to kind of get yourself back into the game, and rather than risk things here on this second point. It was looking a bit dicey as well, so I think they've been plenty reminded, and I don't think we're going to see too much slip-ups from this sort of style of gameplay from Alien.
Yeah, I much prefer waiting for 5 minutes of them holding last rather than 10. Those became very long, drawn-out games, particularly when you had a large series of games. But thankfully, this tournament format is just a single map per round. They're playing 7 rounds today. They got nice long breaks in between, so these players should be keeping it pretty fresh. It's a bit less intense and arduous than an Insomnia would typically be.
Yeah, it's fairly NA style. Don't have to kind of go through all the. Oh, we're straight in. Duo is transported on top of Sneaky. Banny binds back, and I think Raph is just tired of having a death counter on to his log name. So Duo will try his crack at it. Won't work out. Again, 45 seconds left. I expect an Uber charge just to kind of come in these last seconds of the game. Usually there was points where the team feels confident that they can't even push out if there was a successful defense, as there just won't be enough time left. So here we go. Here's that early Uber charge in. Nice milk coming out from Lucky, trying to give them the best Uber charge that they can work with, and the rotation to counter over on 3.5 stars now. They're going to try and pick a random door that they don't think they're going to expect this push coming out from. They've got 2 in from right-hand side, and they're laying about a little bit of spam. QB trying to make space for his team, but his team doesn't really feel it and will commit to the push.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to start backing out. This must be a little bit of log padding, trying not to get any deaths in the last sort of 5 seconds of the game.
Well, the game says everyone loses, but it doesn't feel like that for Alien Workshop. You're breathing a sigh of relief at this point, and you're going to have another crack at mid, and you got to give them credit. Their mids have been less than desirable, as they just keep losing Koriski so early on. But surely, how many times do you have to see this lesson before you learn it?
Absolutely. I'm expecting big things this mid. I think they need to do something interesting, because all that's happening is Alien Workshop, they're losing like sort of the pepper on mid, and then they're being pushed back to last, and that's been the story of the past 15 minutes. I'm expecting hoping for a nice double bomb from Kazuki and Shades.
Alright, so 3.5 stars though. They're thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As they're just waiting. Here is the double bomb that you wanted, and Koriski will immediately go down, but Shades has found a lot more damage this time around. The team is pushing across. Deli tries to pick off Lucky during all of this chaos, and you've got 2 scouts left at the end of a mid, a more scary sort of scenario than any sort of horror game, as Duo is being chased, hunted down, will actually be let go as they want to cap off that mid. The Chariot is coming through as they are going to clean up this second point without any sort of interruption.
Yeah, that is exactly what Alien Workshop needed. They're definitely sort of back on the front foot in this game. Of course, these teams, although there is a draw, you could potentially draw and get a point each. That's not what it's all about at this point. They need to capitalise and win a round.
Look at the last point. It's all red. I'm not used to this this colour scheme. As, let's see if Alien Workshop have a better bite than they do a Bark over on this last point. Tavi, he will be expected to do a lot of damage and set it up. There's not really any players to find. They pop off so early. No. They're kind of caught off guard by this random sentry gun off point instead. They lose Koriski during all this. This is a dog shit Uber, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, they really just had no information at all on the composition of that last. You know, the scout got caught up peppering a level 1 gun. The stickies were there the whole time, and there were no players to be seen. But that point was locked down without any input, really, from any of those 3.5 star players.
Yeah, you could see the scouts wanted to bunch up on the point, but that one sentry gun, that level 1 warrior was enough to deter them. They're into the fight. Duo strikes against Lucky, but it might be the play that kind of hangs them up. Raph coming in with massive amount of damage.
Oh, wow.
The man won't die until he puts just a couple more rockets into the team of Alien. Only Lucky is alive. He's being chased by a scout. He could get chased all the way back and killed off, but I don't think they want to commit anybody players into it. Lucky actually feels scared that they might keep going with this chase, and he decided to hide for just a quick second, but it's all safe. It's all fine. They've still got their supercharged to worry back at.
Yeah, that was quite a devastating bomb from Raph there. He got everyone packed tightly into that corner and made his damage stats look very, very tasty. So Alien Workshop, a very similar site. We are seeing them set up on last.
Oh, it's blue again. Okay, thank goodness.
Don't worry,
all right.
peace has been
I'm much more used to this now. It's got to be a little debilitating for Alien Workshop, and 3.5 stars now. They have a map kind of length worth of momentum behind them now, going all the way from your last, causing that heartbreaker might be enough to get them into this last point. They have got the Iron Man set up. The man has put on his steel suit, and I don't think Lucky's going to be an easy kill, but 3.5 stars again. Statistics are on their side. If they just keep going at it, eventually something's got to happen.
We certainly hope so, for our sake and the viewers.
This is my caster talk of saying, do something, 3.5 stars. Believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, believe in me, believe it in you.
But yeah, we see them now. Again, to just feel each other out. They come in with
an
a pretty
Uber.
fast Uber from bottom.
Okay, I mean that's certainly new. How many times do you see an Uber just come out? But they do clean up the sentry gun. It's a bait out. If we take out the sentry gun, we can get the bomb onto Lucky, and they even get some cap time as well. Juxta gets a kill during all of that Uber charge. Shades must be salty.
That is utter chaos. They only managed to net themselves about 20% advantage there, but I can imagine they're still pretty happy about that.
I mean, it's quite genius, really. They just kind of broke it down to its core aspects. We cannot bomb the player because sentry gun.
Yeah.
How do we usually kill sentry gun? Uber. So they just Uber into the sentry gun and then take it from there. Puts a lot of confidence, though, into your soldiers that they're going to commit and the promise on that plan. But hey-ho, it worked.
Yeah, this needs to be a really hard and fast Uber from Patchouli here, because they've only got that 25% advantage. It looks like it's going to be...
And they can't really find the kill onto Lucky, so he probably will get his Uber charge by that point. They don't really get the cap time either, and they put all of their marbles on that cap time. It actually pays off. They throw enough bodies to the wind, and the wind will give them some positives here, as the 3.5 stars will get their cap that they've been so desperately hunting for. And now, any sort of stalemates now is not on the plan for Workshop. They've got the time against them this time.
Yes, we have a game on our hands. There are stakes at play. Alien Workshop, they need to score 2 rounds in order to net those 3 points, or if they're happy with a draw, which certainly is nothing
I think you'll take anything at this point, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 9 minutes left into the, 3rd or 4th mid.
So again, these mids have been kind of bad for Alien up until the last previous one. Now, can they catch lightning in a bottle twice? Shades right high in the sky, focusing on these scouts, doesn't quite find the kill that he's hoping for. Tav even goes down uncharacteristically early. This is probably actually... it's getting a bit chaotic, so maybe they might be able to grind this out. Sneaky needs to get a lot of damage in to kind of claw things back for his team. Everyone is so low. I don't think there's 100 HP to share amongst everybody in this server. Finally, QB will put down this Alien Workshop team. They have claimed back mid supremacy.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're still very, very weak. They're desperate for Patchouli to get back into the fray, get them nice and healthy so they can look to attack this second point. We still have got a spawner rolling out and someone else in the spawn queue from Alien, so if there's a time for 3.5 stars, it is going to be pretty soon. Yeah,
so you can actually hear some of the players coming through some of the walls here. It's that land magic. I don't think it's quite 3.5 star kind of play. Just need I remind you, a lot of other games are going on at the moment. Raph on top of Lucky, won't give up without a fight. Lucky, I think, picks up a cheeky health pack, still has more soldiers on his lap, and yeah, they threw everything at Lucky, just hoping to kind of even out the bad situation that was coming upon them. But this is the worst timeline for 3.5 stars this round.
It certainly is. They're desperately trying to get a forward spawn, but Alien Workshop have something to say about it, sending all of their players back to last, getting second for free. And then they need to have a little bit of a think about what their approach is going to be. Of course, they can't afford to lollygag and hang around if they want to capitalize 2 rounds and take this W. So I can imagine something pretty hard and fast before 3.5 stars can get fully set up on this last.
They actually took second quite slowly for my liking, but hey-ho, it is done now. They've got 100%, they have 40% advantage. They take out the sentry gun really quickly, already pushing damage across. Nice little damage being laid in. He is just walking in. I'm going to lay down the foundation of damage, and I hope my team follows me up. And spoilers, they did not.
No, that heavy managed to gap down 2 players right at the end there. They do manage to get lucky out, but at the cost of their second point.
All right, so this is kind of like a glove on the other hand, as they have 100% Uber charge, and now the momentum's that way, this way. They actually, Raph actually cleaning up a Kazuski completely on his own, body blocked and rocket blocked. And, actually, you don't see this too often. There's a spy, but he can't quite reach the medic. I've never seen a medic surf a revolver before.
Was he disguised as a soldier and couldn't quite keep up?
I don't think the spy is as quick as the medic, though, so I feel his pain ever so slightly. It hurts the soul, and I think you might be right, though. I think maybe he might have been disguised as a soldier. And, yeah, just knew the situation that was happening. Tried to gun him down, doesn't quite work out. What a kind of air shot coming out from Kaworski. The man just finds them easier than floor rockets.
Yeah, he's definitely having a lot of fun, especially when you've got soldiers bombing in perpetuity there. So certainly a good game for him. But they are looking to push out now with Duo down. They're not overly locked down, but
Risky. He was managed to get in.
Oh my God!
Did you see the license plate on that man? He just struck down Paul Petrulli in daylight. And, oh, man, it's got to hurt. As they have got 100% Uber charge, 5 minutes left on the clock. This is doable here, Mia.
It certainly is, but only with fast action.
Oh, man, Rafa was like, you cannot leave, so I won't let you. Juxta maybe might get a consolation kill. I don't know why they're still hanging about at this point. They're going to get mowed down, as they are slowly starting to back out now. Delhi setting up some traps to maybe slow them down. They're going to be in high octane gear at this point. They need to be careful they don't make uncharacteristic mistakes here on Alien Workshop. But the momentum is there, the tools are there, it's their minds there, though.
Yeah, definitely. We see them, just sort of rolling over that mid. They were definitely slowed down by 3.5 stars, trying to go for those cheeky back caps. So taking it nice and steady, just trying to spam out, trying to keep all of those players up, and hopefully get into 3.5 stars.
30% advantage still. They're pushing into top lobby. They can maybe keep going with this. Sneaky's calling it. He wants to go in with the Uber charge. He's cleared the Stickies. He's in for 3. He doesn't need an Uber charge. He's already at last. He's clearing off the Stickies, baited off the soldier onto the ground. He's going for kills. There's the first couple of dominoes falling from 3.5 stars. The damage finally comes in. The Uber charge has popped off now. It's kind of made things awful here for Alien Workshop, but they are still floating about. They feel the momentum still. Demoman down. Sneaky 18 HP Warrior trying to sneak up on the heavy weapons guy. It's not that kind of game though. Tavi doesn't quite find the kills either. There's just too much with that Uber charge caught from Petrulli at that last moment.
Yeah, that was messy, but it was a beautiful chaos there, and unfortunately didn't quite come good for Alien Workshop. But they've sort of have made a bit of a mark, but is it a little bit too late? We've only got 3.5 minutes left of this round.
Yep, that's no more round reset for either of these teams. Kaworski going for the jump against Petrulli, quickly cleaned up by Juxta, and Raph is just alongside the front lines, just rolling all forward aggression. They only had a Hail Mary punch left in them over on Alien Workshop to turn the tide at this point, and it didn't work. It was just way too predictable, and they had them way too controlled.
Yeah, now 3.5 stars, they just want to mow forward and try and sort of capitalize it and define this as their win. They really want to get Alien Workshop on their last, so they can just tap the brakes. They don't need to go, hitting the gas. and wait for the round.
I think they might get another round on the board at this rate. They've got 100% Uber charge. They're already pushing into the last. They're not prepared for them at all. There's a sentry gun on the last, watching the last point physically, but they can't really quite finish any of these players either. Finally, Kowarski is the first one to go down. Duo is in. He's committed alongside his scouts on this point. They're trying to throw bodies on. The point time will work again for 3.5 stars. With 2 rounds on the board and 2 minutes left, we're going to have to start having players lift their hands off the keyboards if Alien Workshop want to come back into it.
Yeah, exclaim a little bit of woe. It looked really messy at the start. It looked like they weren't going to get many kills with that Uber charge, but as soon as those players emerged from their spawn, they managed to completely mow down and get their second round here. So Alien Workshop, it's mathematically possible, I think, is what we say at this point.
Oh my god, I hate that mathematical. Get the mathematical jar out. Pay the fine. As yeah, it is possible, but short of going over and start pulling cables out, and I don't think it's really on the cards. But they have to play. They have to just hope. Maybe this is the set. Somebody has to do the quickest time, and it might be Alien Workshop today. A nice fished out 92 damage is a good start for things. Kowarski actually manages to get the medic. I tried to say he gets the medic pinned down. The man is just flailing about like a wild fish. Does eventually go down, but if you've spent that much resources just killing a medic, how can you possibly hold on to a point?
As a medic player, there is nothing more infuriating than a soldier bombing you and having enough time to reload 3 times.
I noticed you actually counted physically during all the cast. You didn't pay attention to any other details. You were like, this man's reloading 3 times. How is that even possible?
Why is he alive?
You know what? I'm not even going to pop my Uber. I think you guys deserved the drop.
Yeah, definitely at that point. That is a little bit of a dirty protest.
So they do cap back mid because they do have that medic advantage. It is a kind of guaranteed pretty much for Alien Workshop, but I think nobody's looking at the round captures at this point. I think they're looking at the time. They're now just pulling out the calculators and going, is it mathematically possible?
I think at this point you're looking towards a nay, but they are feeling out.
Well,
they're not going out
cleaned up nice and early. I mean, but they have to start. I think it's just going to be about a morale round at this point. Trying to they're setting up stickies onto the point so nobody can really contest them if anybody would just actually sack for the point, and nobody is really sticking with the game plan. Finally, there's some fighting going on the point now. Sneaky actually making a good Hail Mary of it and taking out a few souls with him. Wants to actually get the back kill onto Petruli, and they're just pouring all stocks into Sneaky, but he's just crashed, and it will not go the way of Alien. Not even a consolation round. No feel-good vibes on this blue side. It is the Viva la French way.
Definitely, they're being brutal and tactful. They have decided that they want to push out, and with that, we see the end of the round, and it is 2-0 to 3.5 stars. Definitely the favourite coming into this fixture, but they'll be happy with that.
Well done, 3.5 stars. Well done. A good start off for any tournament as well. And it wasn't without its challenges, though, Mia.
No.
That pesky last hold. What were they struggling with so much?
I mean, I think it was they threw the same thing at the wall every single time, and it just didn't quite come good for them. You know, that single soldier sack getting super high up into the air, then you're landing on the medic and you're landing on the sentry gun, and then you've got soldiers shooting a million rockets in the air trying to airshot you. And it just never changed.
So what changed for them in those couple of rounds that they got? Was it just Alien Workshop? Were they just not set up in time?
Alien Workshop, it looks like they sort of shifted their last start. They went for a more aggressive hold, and that enabled 3.5 stars to go in with a really, really quick Uber charge.
Yeah.
And then they were able to sort of unstuck themselves and make a bit of a mess on their last.
Well, hopefully that won't be the last bit of snake water we'll see from these two teams. Maybe there might be a bit of redemption, but it's not the last time we'll see these two teams either. We've got 7 rounds total, but 6 more rounds to go. And yeah, a lot of gamers are playing. There's probably some more games happening on the Fireside casts if you want to catch any of those games. But in the meantime, we're going to go to a little break. We're going to kind of get ourselves recuperated for round 2, and we won't be going soon. Hopefully you guys won't be going too far either. See you soon.
Thank you.